It's 30th of November, and I'm still in St Thomas's Hospital, just the other side of Westminster Bridge. And not really been much to report, if I'm honest, since this condition of the most appalling sepsis started on the 28th of September, so over 2 months ago. I want to say a very big thanks to the NHS, starting at Midway Hospital, and the reality is I probably shouldn't have survived this far. Because the damage that was done by this by sepsis was so severe. You don't often see people in my condition and actually surviving. So that's a big thanks to what they've done to keep me alive. But I've been sort of subsisting for the last 2 months, getting sort of stronger. And for the damage that was caused, now the damage is quite obvious. I know I've never seen anything like this before, where the blood supply lost to extremities has caused this most strange, almost leather.
Looked like the Black Death to me. Whatever the people looked like during the Middle Ages with Black Death, I don't care how different it may have looked than this. When I think of the Black Death where people turn black, this is what I think of. When I see this, the Black Death pops into my head. All from dog saliva.
Has caused this most strange, almost leather-like plastic material to emerge, and it's caused the complete death of my hands and also my feet. So the time has been spent really getting to a state of readiness for the next phase of my rehabilitation. Now, that's not going to be much fun. That means a quadruple amputation.
Look at that. Look at it. Dog saliva. Dog saliva. You know, the same stuff we inhale nonstop, that gets everywhere, that dog lovers have all over their hands, that they reach out to shake yours with.
A quadruple amputation that is due for tomorrow morning. And the reason for doing the video today, of course, is this is the last time that these old things that have served me well for 57 years will be attached to me. They look rather like sort of peat bog man. They're sort of gnarled, dry, and desiccated, but it'll be like saying goodbye to old friends. Now, if you're wondering what this is for, this is so that I can just about operate an iPad and an iPhone, because the stylus sort of then works.
I don't know. Listen, you can say goodbye to your love life. Depending on how old you are, you can say goodbye to dating and all of that. I mean, actually, to be honest, there should be some people watching over you. Is it worth the risk? Of course not. Of course it isn't. But we are dealing with a mentally ill population. I believe there's a lot more cases than the ones we've heard of. A lot more. They just are not reported. How crazy is that? Dog saliva is so toxic, it can leave you in this condition. And I'm going to tell you now, I don't care if it's one chance in a billion. I don't care. Because sepsis is not the only thing that can happen to you. Rubbing on a worthless mutt. Welcome back. Last night in the members area, I conducted a 9-hour live stream. I just noticed a few minutes ago, I was still live from last night. And let me tell you something, I don't remember nothing. So I'm doing too much. And I'm going to have to keep the post-work live streams at a set time limit from now on. Because that was scary. Rarely do I wake up and not even remember much about the night before. So add this to the already long list of reasons why it makes perfect sense to hate these things. Why? Because I would hate for something like this to happen to me. So I hate whatever it is that passes it on to humans. And I'm going to avoid it like the plague, pun intended, right? Just out of curiosity, what do y'all think the Black Death looked like if it didn't look like this? What do y'all think it looked like? I still say, this is that same Black Death. And if not, it's a sibling. I'll shout out to Jonathan Payne in the building, who shared this video in the chat room of that 9-hour live stream last night. I apologize for that. And let me share a link to this. We've heard of a number of people contracting sepsis. It's caused by capnocytophaga. Capnocytophaga. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. They say it's found in the mouths of dogs and cats, but I've yet to hear about a case where it came from cat saliva. I haven't heard a single one. In fact, when you do a Google search, capnocytophaga, and you click images, what do you think you see? When you do a search, a Google search, and you don't click images, what do you think you read about? What you see and what you read about is all dogs. Which is why, just like bot flies, just like mango worms, just like reverse sneezing, just like this way of panting, I mean, let's get real here. These things are dog problems. They're not universally shared. When you hear about rabies, you hear about it from a dog. When a human it's a dog. Look at all the things unique to dogs. And then your little doctors and scientists behind the team going to say, oh, it's in all animals. Oh, it's all saliva in all animals. Shut up. Just shut up. This is why we snatched the stripes of you veterinarians too. Y'all failed us too. This is our right based on the Constitution. If y'all not doing your job, we have the right to step up and do it. Failing the general public. Dogs are the most dangerous living, breathing creatures on the planet right now for human beings. Fact. Even if you did not deal with dog attacks. I don't care if they were toothless. They're the most dangerous thing on this planet right now for human beings. If you don't understand that, you're an idiot. Y'all gonna step your intelligence game up. If I got anything to do with it, y'all gonna stop acting dumb. Now on to other news. Speaking of nutters being attacked, this case, where's the justice? As woman killed in frenzy attack. This is a case where these two had two Rottweilers. One had one on a leash, the other had the other. And here comes some nutter walking down the street in the opposite direction. This lady right here, Marie Stevens. She sees the couple. She sees two Rottweilers. She thinks to herself, oh, let me show them that I'm not afraid. Let me pretend that these things are harmless. Won't that be awesome? You low intelligent nutters, stop doing that. Are you just that desperate to be an overt imbecile? Let me go rub on it. Let me risk my own ignorant life. For what? Nothing. Goes up, puts her purse down first. She stops, puts her purse down, walks up, reaches out her hand, and she gets attacked. One Rottweiler clamps down on her wrist. The other joins in, and they just start ripping her up. Oh, help, help. Now you're screaming help. Do you think it was smart to go up and pet something that could potentially have you screaming for help? Again, go lay out in traffic, why don't you? That's where your brain is right now. Go jump off a cliff. You might survive. Why not? You might live. So after the dogs slapped her around for a little while, the dog owners regained control of the dogs and they told her to get up. Told her to get up. They said, ain't nothing wrong with you. Get up. So there's your wonderful mutts, your angelic mutts. And then there's the dog lovers. Look at the behavior of both. A random, unprovoked, and there really wasn't unprovoked. Because if you walk up to me and reach your hand towards my face, instinctively, I'll probably slap you too. Just on a basic living organism level, what makes y'all nutters think that that's a smart thing to do? Robbing on dogs might be a thing, but limit it to your own personal flipping dog. They just don't do nothing smart at all. Dog lovers, they get off on being backwards. How ironic. Get up. Get up, will you? There it is. Get up, will you? Nothing wrong with you. This lady was a retired nurse. What a way to spend your final years, going around risking your life for nothing. That's the life of dog lovers. It's nutty. That's why I say Nutter News. Man, this is a nutty bunch. Who's the next to just walk up and reach your hand? And you see how they rub on these things, don't you? Be slapping them all in the face, rubbing their hand all over their eyeballs, over their mouth. You intrusive nutters. Y'all don't even have that much respect for others. Look at how much of an invasion of space just rubbing is. I don't want to rub on nothing, especially not rub all over the face of nobody I consider a friend. This ain't no friendship relationship. This is a very weird, extremely intimate and passionate relationship, if you ask me. Like I say all the time, I don't care where I repeatedly rub a woman. I don't care if I'm rubbing the palm of her hand repeatedly. That's intimacy. That's intimacy. Okay, but before I slide into the next bit, that's intimacy. Why do you think there's so many videos like this? Massage client goes too far. Oh, massage therapist arrested, accused of touching women inappropriately. Huh? Ain't a whole adult entertainment industry based on scenarios preceded with body massages? Huh? It's nasty. Robbing on dogs is disgusting. And they feel disgusting anyways. I don't know what y'all get out of it. They literally feel disgusting to touch, and especially to rub. That nasty, wrinkly, oily skin slides all over the place. They don't even feel like normal creatures that you're supposed to rub. They don't feel like no fur ball. They barely got fur, most of them. And that what fur they do got is nasty. Got a saliva and excrement all through it. I'm going to touch this nasty thing. Nashville woman arrested after Florida police rescue her dog from a hot car parked at the beach. Marie Rutherford, 40 years old. Now, I haven't even watched this. That'll put a spin on Nutter News.
Oh, look at that. Come on, puppy. Come on.
Let's make sure.
Come on. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, boo-hoo.
That's a good girl.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. These deranged mutts, they're so deranged and inflicted that the temperature, all it has to do is be slightly above average, and the dumb mutt will flip out. Y'all remember I shared that story where they said that hot weather causes dogs to become aggressive? They even went to the point of saying that the sun glare in their eyes will, encourage them to attack someone. These are just deranged creatures. And you don't hear about other animals overheating like that. Really can't make this up. Ain't about to have no pity party over here. And seriously, that dog was probably in that car for about 5 minutes. As soon as somebody just see a dog in a car, there they go smashing the window. Crazy. There's nothing else that you can purchase that's considered your property that you'll get arrested for so-called mistreatment. You leave it outside tied to a tether. Oh, you're charged now with animal cruelty. It's the law to treat it like your personal baby. In the house, It has to be in the house. It's basically made this a law now. Several areas. You'll get in trouble just leaving a dog tied up outside. Minneapolis mother and her 2 sons hospitalized after dog attack. This is a story about how despicable dog owners are as neighbors. We talk about this all the time. And we should have separate communities because of it. Too many people are attacked by their flipping neighbors.
3 people, including 2 young children, were hospitalized after a dog attack. Good evening. I'm Lindsey Brown.
And I'm Kevin Dorm. This happened last night near Hall Curve and Harry Davis Lane. This is just west of I-94 in North Minneapolis. Brett Hoffman talked to witnesses, and he joins us now with the latest. Brett?
Kevin, after speaking with the family of the victims late this afternoon, it sounds like all 3 are going to survive this attack. But after spending the day in the North Minneapolis neighborhood, it's clear this could have been a much different outcome if it wasn't for the quick actions of neighbors.
We saw a neighbor kind of waving his arms in the air, saying, "Call an ambulance, call an ambulance."
Wednesday evening, Callie Murphy and her boyfriend saw the horrific scene.
We ran out back, and the mom was sitting on the ground, covered in blood, with her youngest kid in her lap.
Minneapolis Animal Care and Control says dogs from a home along Harry Davis Lane in North Minneapolis attacked 3 people. Family identified them as Angel and her 2 young boys, 8-year-old Markel and 3-year-old Junior.
My boyfriend actually took his shirt off and gave it to her to kind of hopefully stop some of the bleeding.
It was pretty bad. The dog tore her forearm up all the way down to the bone.
DJ Smith returned home to see the aftermath of the situation.
So that took a while. If that's true, that had to have taken a while. Where was that guy? Where was that man that they just showed in the photo? Huh? Maybe at work? Maybe didn't even live there.
It's really...
Y'all better be careful. Y'all better be careful out here with no man living with, and you got kids? No man in the house? Y'all better be careful with that. Y'all, and the ladies, y'all need to understand, men, we think a certain way. We think in terms of threats. We're more receptive to what's dangerous. You heard what I said. I'm fencing my house off first.
Really sad, and it's unfortunate. You know, I went to bed last night and I said a quick prayer for the family and the kids, because nobody should ever have to go through something like that.
Animal Care and Control responded and took 2 dogs from the home, while EMS rushed the mom and her kids to the hospital. But some tell us they have questions because they say police did not show up.
It wasn't just like a small little incident, right? It was pretty serious. So a little concerning that the police didn't come to further investigate.
NPD would only say that Animal Control is the lead agency here. And they...
Wow. Wait a minute. Animal control officers are not armed.
They play a supporting role. Now question...
Cops play a supporting role? No, the cops go in first. What are they talking about? What? In several attack cases, the attack is still underway when you arrive. Now, I can understand if the attack was over, maybe that's what they're talking about. Hopefully that's what they're talking about. If not, y'all in all kinds of trouble.
Real concerning that the police didn't come to further investigate.
NPD would only say that Animal Control is the lead agency here, and they play a supporting role. Now questions remain as to how this happened and if anyone will be held accountable.
We've had problems with these homeowners before with their dogs.
It was definitely great to see everyone come together and help them, but...
Had problems with those neighbors before. So these people were well known in the community for their troublesome dogs. You have more than one witness already. Who was the problem in the community? The dog owner. Who was the threat? The dog owner. You living next door to a dog owner, you better at least be armed. Every single time you step out of your house, especially if you're a parent of two. What in the world? This ain't that kind of world, ladies. Goodness. You know the dog's next door. What are you thinking? I'm not blaming her, but we have to be aware. Look at it. These laws that allow people to own these things as pets is sick. But we can't do nothing about it. The only thing we can do is respond and be prepared.
Very scary.
Now, I tried to talk to the owner of the dogs to get their side of the story, but someone at the house told me that they're not talking. Animal Control says they spoke with the owner, who was cooperative, and the investigation continues. Now,
man, again, it is sick. As leaders, it is sick to tell the general population that they can have dogs as pets. That is sick. So here's your good neighbor. This is what they're known for. This is the number one reputation that dog lovers have as neighbors. This happens so often. I mean, it seems like half the cases, doesn't it? At least half is someone attacked by a neighbor's dog or somebody in the community, which is still your neighbor. These people are horrible, horrible neighbors and members of society, and they're never called out as such. That makes me sick. I don't want to hear nothing about gangs. Shut up. Gangs are not in every community. Dogs are. I don't want to hear nothing about no gangs. Dogs are the number one problem in this country. In most ways, they're worse than white supremacists. They're more violent than any other creature in society, period. Nobody going around attacking toddlers. Nobody and nothing but dogs. So if you don't hate dogs, something's wrong with you. I'm saying it here and now. I'll make a whole show on that. My monologue will be, if you don't hate dogs, something's wrong with you, your brain. It's not enough to simply not like dogs. That's not enough. When you see them in your community, you should want them out. If that ain't your attitude, something wrong with you, because you not thinking like that could backfire. Oh, it's my neighbor's dog, not mine. As soon as you went to go get your mail, there go your face. Dog, go back to its owner with your face in its mouth. Police shoot, kill dog who attacks students during the field day at an elementary school. Of course. Those who don't know, kids make up over 50% of all dog attack victims.
Our family should be preparing for the excitement of the last day of school in Lathrop. Well, tomorrow, some are having tough conversations. Tonight, after aggressive dogs hurt 2 kids, forcing officers to shoot and kill one of the animals. Now, this incident happened during the kids' field day today. Officers received calls about aggressive dogs this morning. At one point, officers used an entire can of pepper spray on one dog, but couldn't capture them. That's when the dogs showed up at the elementary school. KSHB 41's Megan Abundance talked with the parent and superintendent about what happened next.
I think kids just want to know that they're safe, and their parents want to know that they're safe. And as a parent, it's how I feel.
Imagine water balloons bounce.
Okay. Now, I mentioned with the members that the kids don't want to know that they're safe. That's not something that goes through a child's mind. That's something that only goes through the mind of a parent, relinquishing their child to be under the care of other people, away from them. That parent wants to know my child is safe. The child feels safe already. Because as kids, we already know and we feel like the adults are not going to put us in danger. They're not going to put us in a situation where we can just get killed. But that's what's happening.
And kids just want to know that they're safe, and their parents want to know that they're safe. And as a parent, it's how I feel.
Imagine water balloons, bounce houses, and games outside Lathrop Elementary. Field Day is a community-wide event, and 400 students were ready to celebrate the start of summer until they couldn't.
It's traumatic. It really is. There's no other way to explain it. It's just a traumatic situation that now the students have to learn to deal with and cope with.
Superintendent Dr. Adam Willard.
It's a small community,
Shut up, man. Stop sounding so spineless. God, I'm sick of men sounding like women. Where's your testosterone, man? Nothing tragic about it. This is a stupid incident, easily preventable. These things are not pets. They need to be banned. End of story. Nothing else to say. Lord, this is what happens when masculinity is attacked. You have men who don't even think of terms and can't think of terms of protection. Even when it requires a simple solution, they start dancing around with this fairy language.
Situation that now the students have to learn to deal with and cope with.
Superintendent Dr. Adam Willard.
It's a small community, and this is a big deal.
Saw 2 random angry dogs on school property.
2 of our students were bit by one of the dogs, and so it was get the students inside. It just turned into, again, safety.
The superintendent said the 2 dogs came from the west and were immediately aggressive.
That's unprovoked. For all you former experts, you need to hear that description of the attack again. Somehow, y'all managed to spin scenarios like this into tail pulling, ear pulling, and all this kind of stuff. Since y'all need help with simple thought processes, here we go. Let me do it again. Lord.
Just turned into, again, safety.
The superintendent said the 2 dogs came from the west and were immediately aggressive. There were about 100 students out here at Lathrop Elementary School enjoying their field day.
But not before an officer shot and killed one dog. Many kids saw and heard it.
It's a small town, so we're kind of used to hearing gunfire, but we had just stepped outside and we hear 4 gunshots, and then 30 seconds later we hear another 2.
Kirk Bumer's son, a 4th grader, saw the kids get bit.
By the time they had shot the dog, he was pushed into the playground area.
Things just don't happen like that around here. And that's what you're hoping for when you live in a rural community. You pride yourself on being safe and predictable. So something happened.
But who threatens that? The dog owners. They're the worst people in society. When you hear people talking the way he is, giving descriptions like this, who's ruining all this potential peace? The dog owners. The worst people in society. There needs to be a book written, titled, The Worst People in Society. We need to bring our focus to this. And we are. You're right? This is what this crusade is all about. Y'all better get used to us. We ain't going nowhere. This train of thought ain't going nowhere. What you thinking?
For when you live in a rural community, you pride yourself on being safe and predictable. So something happened today that unfortunately we have to learn from and have to deal with.
What you gonna learn? What you gonna learn? What you gonna learn, huh? How come scenarios like this hasn't changed the curriculum in the schools? Here it is, these young people witnessing stuff like this, being physically attacked, witnessing dogs getting shot, and y'all not even teaching them about how deranged and violent these mutants are. Instead, you're hauling them into the schools, telling the students to start rubbing on them. This is the backwardness of society and humanity in general. What is wrong with y'all? I'm talking to all the dog humanity. What is wrong with y'all? Y'all acting deranged. Y'all gotta snap out of it. Bottom line is, y'all risking your own life and everybody around you. You're functioning in the world like a psychopath. Snap out of it.
Are said to be fine and okay.
I think he's upset that part of the field day got ruined more than anything, so.
Yeah, I mean, last day of school tomorrow, he wants
Right.
to have a good day.
Right. So it was supposed to be a fun day, and people not following the laws. You know, we have a leash law in the town, and people don't follow it. I mean, you see it all the time, dogs running rapid through here, and the city doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah. And the city don't even do nothing about it. What I tell you? These leash laws, all these stupid laws, it's worthless. So again, I don't want to hear nothing about laws. Because I already know what the dog lovers are saying. Oh, let's just change the laws. Get out of here with that nonsense. Law is only as strong as its enforcement. And the law enforcers are dog lovers.
I just want to say I'm sorry, because as superintendent, you're responsible for everything that happens, and the buck stops with you. I'm sorry that the parents are having to have those conversations with their kids about what happened and what's right and what's wrong, and
Man, what type of statement is that? No. I'm furious. That's a better thing to say. I'm disappointed. I'm ashamed, because this could have been easily prevented. Pets don't do this. People are going to face that simple fact. These are not pets. Now, this next dog, most would consider a pet. It's a very small dog. But a cop shot it anyways. See that? This cop right here. He shot a Shih Tzu. The cop shot this mutt. You know why he shot it? The dog was deaf and blind. Deaf and blind. Now, I mean, how much do you think you'd enjoy your life if you were deaf and blind? You couldn't hear nothing and couldn't even see nothing. All you could do is feel. Do you think that would be a pleasant life? Interesting story. Let's listen.
Was my dog a threat to you or anyone else?
Nick Hunter, Teddy's owner, shared this video showing him confronting the Sturgeon police officer who shot his dog.
I see a dog that is walking around blindly. I don't know the dog is blind.
In the video, the officer claims the dog appeared to be sick.
So you're putting it out of misery.
Blind dog, stumbling around, maybe running into stuff. A blind deaf dog can't even rely on its super hearing. So what is it going to look like? It's going to look sick. Stumbling, falling. The cop probably looked at him like, oh my God. Nobody's dog, but it's clearly suffering. And it has no owner to take it to the vet. I ain't about to take it to the vet. I'm about to adopt you on the clock. I'm about to adopt no dog on the spot. And bring no dog back to the police station. Talking about, oh, we need to do something about it. A blind dog. The question is, why were y'all allowing it to live in the first place? These are the types of dogs they put down because they're so damaged and they can't enjoy life. And this is a part of this story that they're not sharing. They're not touching on this.
What else am I supposed to do? We don't have a freaking ambulance.
Like every
The officer.
You see that? He said, so you're putting them down out of misery? He said, what else am I supposed to do? We don't have animal control. So it's a town too small. Don't even have animal control. Okay.
Apologized to Hunter.
I don't enjoy shooting dogs.
But many Sturgeon
He
residents
was
have
showing compassion shooting it. Like, I don't want to see this thing suffering. It's moving around like it can't even see, and it couldn't see. And come to find out, thing was deaf too. So y'all was just sitting around getting off and laughing about how mutated it is and how deranged and dysfunctional it is, incapacitated. I told y'all, they get off on the mutations of dogs already anyways. So if one is blind and deaf, probably toothless, and got all kind of physical, y'all saw that dog with the nervous system problems, just shaking and drooling all over the place. That's even worse. It's more mutation. So when the dog was blind and deaf, it does nothing to the dog lovers. They figure, hey, more fun. Hey, that makes it more cute. That's inhumane. That's inhumane.
into social media to say they're scared.
Angry, sick. I couldn't, oh my God, I couldn't handle it. My dogs are my life.
I bet your dogs are your life. It looks like your dogs are your life. Where your man at? Where your man at? Cooped up in that little apartment with nothing but your dogs. Huh? All right, lady.
My life. There was one comment that a lady, she's terrified for her kids to be playing outside because if he discharged that firearm, what if he didn't hit it and it ricocheted and it hit a child? Is it going to be, oh, I'm sorry? Like, no, it's not okay. It's just not.
Regina. Well, hey, lady. Maybe he could have handled it different, but I'm sure he made sure there was nobody around before he fired the gun. Right? I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have fired the gun if he saw people everywhere. Okay, let's not reach now. And the bottom line is, cops are forced to shoot dogs all the time. Can't blame the cops. Blame you and the dogs.
Regina Adams Miller says she often saw the blind and deaf Shih Tzu in the neighborhood.
We have all seen that little dog. His name is Teddy.
Why aren't you already own 2 dogs. Why wouldn't you take in a blind, deaf stray? Don't turn around and try to talk like you all humane now. Like you love dogs so much. If y'all love them so much, how in the world can you let a blind, deaf Shih Tzu be a stray? And it's just the neighborhood dog everybody know? See, y'all thought the dog was too nasty and messed up yourselves. That's why you didn't try to help it. Ridiculous.
We've all seen him running around town, and he's not rabid at all.
How would you know that? What are you talking about? Oh Lord.
A person who called Boone County Joint Communications, who wants to remain anonymous, wrote to the city saying the dog was not a threat. Adams Miller says Hunter...
She got 3 dogs. And he didn't shoot it because he thought it was a threat. See how they're lying? He didn't shoot it because he thought it was a threat. They don't want to face their own bad behavior. I'm talking about the dog lovers. They don't want to face their own bad behavior of looking at deformities as cute. Many of these dogs are so mutated, they go through their whole life suffering with pain and all types of dysfunction, problem breathing and everything. And they look at it as cute. Looking at stuff, deformities, as cute is extremely inhumane. And I keep pointing that out because it's the dog lovers who are always going on about how humane they are. Get out of here.
Is heartbroken.
When I talked to him last night, he's
4
barely
dogs.
able to speak. He's crying.
Now, we just saw a 4th dog. This woman in here dog hoarding. You dog hoarding, but you didn't want no parts of a one that was blind and deaf. Y'all basically euthanized the dog yourself by letting it be a blind, deaf stray. Totally vulnerable to larger predators, totally vulnerable to getting ran over and all kind of stuff. Y'all was the ones that was immoral. He was trying to be humane about the situation.
Heartbroken.
When I talked to him last night, he's barely able to speak. He's crying, he's in tears, he's shaking and nervous.
A petition is now
Talking talking about the dog was unable to speak? Is that what she said?
Broken.
When I talked to him last night, he's barely able to speak. He's crying. He's
They barely able to speak is what she said. But it's crying. It was crying, but it wasn't speaking? Huh?
Wrote to the city saying the dog was not a threat. Adams Miller says Hunter is heartbroken.
When I talked to him last night, he's barely able to speak. He's crying. He's in tears. He's shaking and nervous.
A petition is now circulating asking for the officer's removal from service. Siobhan Harms, KMU 8 News.
Look at that. Look at the photo they chose. This ain't how the dog was looking. Crazy stuff, right? The only humane person in this scenario sounds like the police officer, in my opinion. He was the only one willing to do the right thing and not get off on a living creature suffering through life. Boy, they jump on any potential opportunity to shame others when it comes to dogs. It is so pathetic. It's pathetic.
New tonight, 2 young children and their mother rushed to the hospital.
2 dogs attacked them in their own yard, and our Uba Ali shows us what a camera captured and talked to a neighbor who ran in to help.
A quiet Tuesday afternoon took a terrifying turn. Home surveillance footage shows Ron Swingle and his friend outside. In the distance,
this is that same case. This includes this footage, both video and audio. I wanted to share this as well.
children screaming and dogs barking.
One of them said, "They're killing my mommy." I didn't know what to think of that.
Swingle runs across.
How scary is that? Something out of a horror movie, right? You got a person right here. Oh, yes. We may as well get the conversation going. Mainstream news. Y'all such punks. Y'all scared to death of us. Dog culture critics. Y'all think we don't see it. We see it. And you're going to have to point these things out eventually.
What to think of that.
Swingle runs across the street to help.
I ran into the backyard with them and saw 2 pit bulls.
A 3-year-old and an 8-year-old and their mother were attacked by their neighbor's dogs.
There was a...
Neighbors. This is what dog lovers bring into communities. Death, torture, screams. They turn the community into a horror scene.
A board there, I picked that up, swung it at the dogs, I tried to get them off of her.
In the same video, you see the pit bull's owner show up calling for them, then chasing them away from the family, but the damage was done.
So this joker comes driving up, rolling up. What happened? Sounds like his dogs may have manipulated certain restraints and barriers. Something they're very skilled at, which is why they should not be legal to be kept as pets.
But the damage was done. Animal Control says both dogs were impounded, yet residents...
Look at the scene now. This is what dog lovers bring into the community. Look at the vehicles now. Fire truck back here. Horrible. These are the worst people to have in communities.
Are weary.
Very uncomfortable because this is not the first incident.
Kim Smith,
say it again.
the neighborhood watch president for this part of North Minneapolis, is heartbroken.
I would have given my life for my child, and I think that's what the mom was prepared to do.
And focused on one thing.
We just need to help this family.
I can give you some advice. Get a fence. That's 1. 2, get a gun. No, one, get a gun. That's number one. Be aware. Look at these people as enemies. Make sure your antennas are always up. Anytime you step into a new surrounding, scan the perimeter. You better do a 360 and be armed at all times. You gotta move. In this country, you have to move as if you're in war. Because you are. And this is what dog ownership does to America. Does to any country. They're the worst thing for the country. They can spearhead your society downward fast. Right? Shout out to the Crusaders. We're about to, our emergence is going to change the world for the better. Y'all had your time in the sun, dog lovers. It's time for people to start thinking now and operating like normal humans for a change. Shout out to everybody able to join me for this live stream. Again, members, we'll talk about it later. Accidentally made a 9-hour live stream last night. And I hope you can join me on the next as we continue with this crusade.